have an incident like this, where the trailer was tilted to the side, you can see it here, it dropped to this side, and it was rejected as the rail ramp. You have to make sure that now it is daytime, I can see everything with my own eyes now. You have to make sure the suspension does not have any rupture at any point. In the front you have the leaves, the stainless steel leaf. You look very good. Here you have to measure, since you are here, I was already measuring the brake gap, the slack, how the brakes, the pads are slack. You use a metal seal and you stick it between the shoes and the brakes. You can see here, you can see the brakes are not set because this is a steer. There is a gap here. There is a gap here. There is a gap between. There is a gap between the shoes, and the drum. This is a drum. This is a drum. This is not a disc. Drum brakes, old-fashioned stuff. So, of course, the shoes, the brakes cannot be set on the steer. If you look here, the distance on the bush rod, you see a zip tie here. This travel from here to here, this less travel tell you that your brakes are worn a little bit. If you look here carefully, the brake on the pads, this is less than half an inch, or half an inch, almost half an inch. So it was worn, and this is how much loss you have on the brake shoes from here to here. This is the distance. This distance is how much loss of the brake you have. The distance between the zip tie and the beginning of the bush rod. As this distance increases, you have to change the brake pads. And this is the slack adjuster. That is a major cause of problems. If that distance, if you set the brakes, you have to sit down on the truck. If you set the brakes and the front brakes are not set, they are not working, you have to come here and adjust. I think this is 5/9 of an inch. You have to adjust it to push it to make the brakes, the shoes set on the drum. And then you have to go back and forth until the slack adjuster adjusts the brake. And sometimes you have to use WD-40 on it, on this area, everything here, to get that dirt out and to make sure the adjuster is there. We are finished with this part. Let us put the oil dip. It looks good. I do have enough oil. And the truck is cold, so I have water, I have the coolant above the cold, it's cold. So we are done here, we have no problem on this side. We are going to come back to do the hammering process. When you come here, here is all the fun. Here you should not have any gap between the shoes that should not have any gap here. There's no gap at all here. You cannot have gap here. If you have gap, means the slack adjuster is not working. Right here, if you look at mouse, right here, can you stick? You cannot have a gap here at all. There is no gap. Okay, and the thickness is okay. It has to be over half an inch. It's almost half an inch. So these brakes are set. And how do you know how much you lost? You come here to the bush rod. This is the bush rod, and you look at right here, this is all that you cannot tell now this distance between the zip tie and the beginning of the bush rod. This is a healthy distance. It tells you that the emergency brakes are engaged and you have to push them with high pressure air. This is a very good sign that, well, it's not a very good sign, it just tells you the spring is intact and is pushing on the rod. And the slack adjuster, you don't touch the slack adjuster as long as you have no gap here. You can see better on the bottom here. You try to push, here it doesn't go through. It doesn't go through. Little, I have to force it. No, it doesn't go through, it even bent it. So the brakes are set. We finish the brakes on this side. The suspension is very good. The other, last night, when I had the problem with the tilting, it was another problem. The suspension here looks good. There is nothing ruptured or broken. Now let us see this one. You have to have even braking. Even braking means if only one tire is adjusted, the other is not. You look here at the bottom. This is how much travel the rod travels, and the adjuster here is clean than the front. Then you come here, you measure the distance. This is a very healthy, good shoes. Let us see from here. That's the shoes. You put your you try to find out. You should not have a space at all between the drum and the shoes. It's very tight, which means the emergency brake is working and the slack adjuster is working. And the suspension here, nothing is disconnected or broke or leaking. From here you can see better the bush rod and the zip tie. They tell you how much travel you have. And here the same situation. This is the zip tie and the travel. The trusted distance. The trusted distance is the emergency brake, and that no trusted distance is when you would apply the brakes. That is the portion that's not trusted. It tells you how much brake pad you have. And you come here to make sure you have even braking. You come here, you put your seal between the shoes and the drum. There is no space. No space means the brakes are engaged, are set. There is no space between them. And that shoes it's worn on this side. This is much less than half an inch. But and there is no space, but this have to go. This brake on this side have to go. Have to be changed. And the suspension here is okay. This is the shoes. This is the shoe bed, the bed, and there is no place here. So the brakes are okay. You do not want to just comfort yourself, you have to make sure everything is working. I can see the bush, I saw the bush rat from the other side. Here the slack adjuster is dirty because of it's in the front, so takes all the dirt from the flying. Here you can clearly tell the brakes cannot be set because this is the steer. The steer does not have, look at the steer does not have emergency brakes. The steer have only one compartment. Look at here, the steer have only one compartment. This is only surface brakes. So you cannot set the brakes, emergency brake on the front. Suspension here is perfect. So the tractor is okay. The only thing that we left now is we can do, this is a very useful tool, the seal. It is no, the sound and the feeling in your hand. If you look at here, I already changed one tire a few days ago on the road. Look at this tire, this is a brand new tire. It failed on me, it ruptured. The reason it feels different because it has too much rubber. This has very little rubber. This will cause uneven braking. Because look at the difference between the groove here and the groove here. At least you can drive. We don't have surprise. You feel very guilty. Very guilty you did not do that to check the tires. We'll finish the tires. Let us now do the leak test, the oil leak. Summer is coming. Here there is no leak coming out of this wheel. Here it is dry, no leak. This is dry, no leak. Oil leak on the drive rods axles will cause fire. The axle will get hot and you see your trailer catching fire behind you. When the axle gets hot, it melts the tires. This is dry. This is dry. So we are good. This is dry. We are good. So grease leak on the axle is negative. There is no leak. There is no leak here. So the only thing left now is the lights. Because before we close everything, general idea. The belts are okay. We now finished the major mechanical issues, and the only determination I made that some of the brake pads are worn. So let us now do the lighting. Markers are on. Left signal. Good. Good. That's good. Right signal. That's good. That's good. That's good. High beam. We need to check the bottom light. no light, you check it by pulling, you pull that out. You pull it out like that. You have to press that like. Now, is it working? This is the lowest beam. This is the highest beam. They're good from outside. Now we need to do the brake warning. The brake warning. The air pressure now is 125. You need to pump the brakes until you get to the 60, and you have to have light and sound. You got the light. I tell you the brake here. That's number one. You have a sound. When you do that also, you adjust the slack adjuster. We have a sound. There is no sound. We have to have a sound somewhere. Where is the sound? If you don't have a sound, you can get a violation. You have to have sound and light. Wow. We have to go back to the book. You have to have sound and light. You have to. We do have a. Okay, that is enough. I did not have sound. So I have to report that. Sound, when you get to, I think, 60, you have to have sound. I did have sound in the beginning. If you open the door. If you engage the brake, you cannot engage the brake now. You cannot even shift anything now. You have to wait until the pressure gets up. Of course, if the pressure never exceeds the 90 or the 60, if it comes to the 90 and stuck, that means the governor or the compressor malfunctions. It's building pressure. This is called the emergency test light. You have to test the light. You have to have a red light when the air pressure is dropped under the 60 psi. Drive at the 90. You're supposed to have sound and light warning telling you why do you have to have sound and light? Because you know that you are going to have an emergency quick. The brakes are going to set quick, to engage quick, and you have to find a place to stop. Now we are in the warning light is gone because we built the pressure up at 90, which is good. Well, something is better than nothing. At least we have no sound, but we have light. Can you move now? If you move now, we are going to have a problem. It will drop quickly because you have to push the brakes. So you have to wait until the pressure goes a little bit close to 100 to move the tractor. We wait until we get to the 120 and we do the static brake test. Now the tractor is running when you test the compressor and the governor. You have to be running the tractor, the engine, because you want the governor and the compressor to be running. But when you do the static test, the static means you are shutting down the compressor and the engine, and you have to turn the lights on. You have to put your key in the on position, not the ignition position. If you don't put the key in the on position, you are not going to see the gauges. On means the electric circuitry is running, but the ignition is not. You are not pulling the starter, you are not igniting the engine. We can stop here at 100, and you have to count for a minute, for 1 minute. You can stop at this moment. First, you turn the ignition off, you turn the engine off completely, and then you put it back in the next position until you get the gauges up. Turn the... Now, you push your brakes with your hand, with your feet. You push the brakes and hold, and see how much drop you have. You're supposed to have no more than 4 psi in 1 minute. It dropped a little in the beginning, then it stopped. It dropped more. It dropped more than that, more than 4, which tells you have a problem. You build it again. One tank dropped fast, the other tank did not. Because here you have 2 tanks, a primary. The blue is secondary, the white is primary. If you look carefully, it's written on them. This is primary here, and the white and the blue is secondary. Can we do it again? Let us do it again, because this is annoying. If it should not drop more than 4 psi in 1 minute. If you drop more, when you are in a static, when the compressor is not running, that means you have leak somewhere. And as you see, the pressure is not building fast. It's supposed to be 125. Push the accelerator a little bit to get it to 125. If you keep pushing, you are going to see like venting. It will vent, and if you keep pushing, it will vent. That is the governor. stop building the pressure at after 125. You can go to 130. Do not go higher than that. It's 125 psi. Let us now turn the ignition off. Put it on. This 125. Push the brake. We dropped a lot. We had a leak.